Good evening. All right, let's get started. As we begin this afternoon, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land we are gathered on today, the Kulin Nations, and pay my respects to their elders past and present, and extend those respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples joining us here this afternoon and online. Welcome to our 2024 annual general meeting with Positive Victoria. For those who don't know me, I'm Craig Brennan, with Positive Victoria's president. I'm going to try and slow down. We do have a packed agenda this afternoon, but before I go any further, I'd like to acknowledge some special guests in the room with us this afternoon. Elizabeth Babelis from the Department of Health, Simon Root, CEO of Long Harbour Health, Anne Garon from the Healthcare, Ian Marshall, the President of Positive Victoria, and David Mitchell, AO, Positive Victoria. Okay, moving on. First order of business is everybody should have the meetings from last year's AGM. Are there any revisions to minutes? No. Can I call for a motion to accept the minutes of the 2023 AGM, please? Moved by David Minju, second. Adam Brett, favour? I actually have a little bit of housekeeping, just in case people haven't already gotten where the little red pieces of paper that you received on the way in are for voting members. Only members may vote on the motion for it being to the election portion of this afternoon. So, again, in favour? This is the paper carried. Thank you. Moving on. Me, President's Report for 2024. I need my glasses for this. So recently I found myself reflecting on the nature of change and how it shapes our lives. In my role at Positive Victoria, I get to see firsthand how adaptability and resilience are at the core of our communities. And this year has been no exception. It has been a year of considerable change for living in Positive Victoria, culminating in our successful relocation to 25 Elizabeth Street. The doors open today. So this move has been more than just about personal change of address. It signifies a strategic step forward in how we operate and connect with our communities. It offers us an opportunity to reshape the ways in which we serve all of you. The decision to move wasn't one that we made lightly. It's required careful thought, significant planning, and months of close collaboration with our long-term partners at Positive Women Victoria. With our lease agreement at Coventry House coming to an end, this naturally prompted a needs analysis. And the outcome of that was that in a post-pandemic world, we recognise that work patterns have shifted. For all organisations, flexible and remote working models have resulted in a reduced need for large office spaces. Additionally, in a climate of funding uncertainty, finding a cost-effective solution has become essential for us to maintain the stability and sustainability of our organisation. Our new location at 25 Elizabeth Street is at the very heart of Melbourne. And with its excellent public transport, it's connecting with us now will be easier than ever. We look forward to being part of a vibrant local community, and this opens up significant opportunities for us to engage with and to influence our surroundings, enriching the services that we provide and the programs that we offer. I invite everyone to express their gratitude to those who have led and supported this relocation. Richard King, our CEO, Kirsty Macon, the Executive Officer of Positive Women Victoria, whose positive attitudes and practical approaches turned a complex process into a management journey. Their leadership and joint collaboration were instrumental in aligning our organisations and ensuring a smooth transition. Stephanie Raper, the President of Positive Women Victoria, for her support and for reinforcing the shared vision of both organisations. Matthew Gallagher, our Treasurer, who skillfully guided us through the financial considerations and made sure that we made sound decisions for the future of both organisations. And to David Westlake. David Westlake, who tirelessly searched for a perfect new home and who, with Christian Cortez, expertly coordinated to get out of our new home and logistics of this move. The result is David's passion on full display, and it is magnificent. Thank you, David. So, last year, as we launched our strategic plan, we made a commitment to transparency and accountability. Keeping you all informed about changes in progress ensures that our strategic plan remains a living document, and that the governance and operations arms of Living Positive Victoria remain accountable to you. So the first change to our strategic objectives that I'd like to discuss this afternoon. Support Objective 1, our Reconciliation Action Plan. A part of our key commitment, or a key commitment we have to inclusivity, is the development of a reconciliation action plan. And I'm pleased to report that work on this has begun. However, unforeseen staffing changes over the course of this year have forced work on this area to begin later than anticipated. And the board has decided to extend the timeline for implementing our RAP to 2026. I want to emphasize that this extension is not about a delay. It's about a dedication to doing it right. The additional time will allow us to complete the reflect stage and deeply evaluate the insights we've gained and ensure that our actions are grounded in general engagement with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities. We believe that taking the extra time to get this right is essential for fostering genuine partnership and making a meaningful difference. Next. The needs analysis for people aging with HIV, support Objective 2. Addressing the evolving needs of an aging population of people with HIV remains a core focus for Living Positive Victoria. Initially, we set goals to complete a comprehensive needs analysis and to develop a collaborative strategy by the end of 2024. However, this objective is more complex than we initially foresaw. And the board has extended the deadline for the needs analysis to be completed by the end of 2025, the 1-year extension. This extension reflects our commitment to a rigorous and thoughtful process. Our CEO recently returned from the International AIDS Society conference in Munich and brought back with him, along with conversations with sector leaders, the importance of this area. The aging population of people with HIV faces unique challenges, such as managing multiple comorbidities, accessing age-appropriate healthcare services, and combating social isolation. By taking the additional time, we aim to gather more comprehensive data and insights to form a more robust strategy. During this extended period, we will continue to support our communities through existing programs like Taking Charge and Law Beyond 50, in partnership with Bon Papa. Extending the timeline will also ensure that we are better positioned to advocate for and implement long-term strategies that truly meet the needs of all people with HIV. Third and final change to our strategic objectives is in the Immigration and Law Reform Advocacy Plan, which was due at the end of 2023. We continue to work actively in this space around immigration and law reform, specifically focusing on policies that disproportionately impact people living with HIV who seek residence in Australia. Our initial objective, again, was to complete the 2023, outlining how we would collaborate with NAPWA, the National Association of People with HIV in Australia, and how we would influence this issue at the Commonwealth level. The board has decided to extend the deadline for completing the advocacy plan into the early part of 2025. I want to emphasize again, this extension allows us to develop a comprehensive strategy. And this is about focusing our efforts and impact. It's about time. It's about time to give us the space that we need to actually complete the work that we have to do, and recognizing that these are more complex issues than we originally conceived. So that, as I reflect on this year, it's clear that change has been a constant companion for us. Through our relocation to 25 Elizabeth Street and adjusting our timelines on key objectives, we have navigated the issues with resilience and adaptability as we always have. However, this year has also seen the departure of long-serving staff members whose contributions have been invaluable and their absence is deeply felt. We've faced an uncertain funding environment where financial constraints have created additional challenges, but they also push us to be more innovative, resourceful, and proactive in securing the future for Living Positive Victoria. For me, change isn't just about challenges, it's an opportunity. opportunity for growth, opportunity for renewal, and this period of transformation has seen Living Positive Victoria become stronger and more focused than ever. The work we do is never static, and neither are the challenges that we face. As we move forward, it's essential that we continue to adapt and remain steadfast in our mission, knowing that every change we make brings us closer to a world where people with HIV can thrive without fear, stigma, or limitation. So that is me. Questions for the President? None. Can I have a motion, please, to accept the President's report for 2024? Moved by Sarah Hocking, seconded. Seconded by Gallagher. In favour? Waiver. Carried. Thank you. So that will be the team of the CEO's update and current progress on strategic objectives.
All right, I'm happy to pop that first slide for you. Thanks everybody. It's always great to see folks turning up for our AGM and stuff like that, and particularly great to see former board members and people that have made fantastic volunteers we have now, and people who have made both a historic and current contribution to our organisation. And it's always a great opportunity for me on these days to kind of showcase some of the work that we're doing and kind of give our members the information about where we're at operationally. So Craig really eloquently covered our move, but just before we kind of lurch into the future, I just wanted to reflect on the history of Coventry House, where we were and where we've been since about 2013. In the lead up to the International AIDS Conference that was held in Melbourne in 2014, the then Liberal government initiated the Coventry House Partnership. Prior to that, we had three organisations that didn't really work well together, that were kind of isolated and doing their own thing. We had Positive Women Victoria, we had Straight Arrows Victoria, and we had Living Positive Victoria. This initiation was to bring those three organisations into the same space and build partnership, build capacity. And I think if we reflect on those things, without a doubt in my mind, that has been a really successful approach by government. For those, and I know Ian was part of the process with the merger process with Straight Arrows Victoria. We merged those two organisations together, and Living Positive Victoria moved away from being basically a gay men's organisation to an organisation that was representative of all positive people living in Victoria. I've been really proud to be part of that process and watch that evolution over a period of time, and it really has shifted the way that we engage with all communities. And I think that shift in perspective and that inclusion has kind of brought us to where we are today with our ability to engage with emerging communities in a really strong and successful way. And I just want to reiterate that although Positive Women did not come on that journey of merger, our relationship, because of the Coventry House project, has continued to flourish over those years. It was a no-brainer for us to continue our co-location with Positive Women Victoria, because at Living Positive Victoria, we believe that co-location benefits every person living with HIV across this state. And we're really proud of that partnership, and I'm sure that we will see further integration of our organisations over the years ahead. We're sharing the same policy frameworks, the same IT systems, all those kinds of things that are meshing together and really continuing to strengthen that relationship. So although we've had a series of challenges, I felt like it was really important to reflect on the success of those initiatives as well, as we move into our kind of new home and our new kind of pathway forward. I just wanted to stop for a minute and just reflect on the success of the Coventry House project. Again, I've kind of covered the building better partnerships and Positive Women, mitigating the strategies. I think the President covered this really well. We have had some challenges. We'll continue to have some challenges through this financial year and report back on folks, but both myself and the board have made sure our priority is to protect the services that we deliver to our community. So some of the decisions that we made to save money, reduce our footprint after the end of our lease at Coventry House, was really to ensure that we didn't have to make further staff reductions, and that we could continue to provide the range of services that I'll go into. And just letting folks know that regardless of challenges in the future, that's always going to be our shared priority. And I'm really proud of the support that I've received through some really challenging times this year from my board, and we kind of move together as one, and that's a fantastic place for a CEO to be. Okay, one of the challenges that we've had in the last couple of years, we had this kind of dual situation. So whilst at one stage we were kind of mitigating potential funding costs, we also had a pool of money that we had to move out the door, which was underspent from the COVID years. So we were sitting on a large amount of money, and about 18 months ago, we got a directive from the department to utilise some of that money. And there's been some key strategic things we've been able to do about that. Currently, we've got our multicultural engagement strategy, and I'll talk a bit more when we get to our programs about the impact that multicultural communities have had on our organisation and the numbers of people that start to engage with us as a result of that. And we're really proud. We'll probably deliver that, I would say, in early 2025. And for any folks here from a multicultural background, if you know positive people, if they're not a member or they haven't engaged with LPV, we're doing a really broad engagement across multicultural populations. So please send them via our website at lpv.org.au. We'd be really interested in hearing what their lived experiences are. We also will do some research next year in partnership with Archers and La Trobe University, looking into the lived experience of trans and gender diverse folks living with HIV. For so long, it was only back in 2017 when we started to collect data that was specific about trans and gender diverse identities. Prior to that, because of data sets, a whole range of other reasons, it was always assigned to gender at birth. And that meant that for a long time when we were developing HIV strategies or sexual health strategies, we weren't really engaging those communities in a way that the data reflected. And there's been a whole lot of changes, and engaging with trans and gender diverse folks is more important than just getting pronouns right. There's a whole lot of things about those lived experiences and marginalisation of that community that we hope, with the fantastic experience of Archers and particularly Professor Graham Brown leading that project, that will have some fantastic things to offer our community and some insights about the lived experience of those community members that engage with our organisation. So both of those projects have been funded by the money from the department that we were unable to utilise due to lockdown. So we thought they were really great value and set us up for the future, and again, acknowledge that diversity and that we are an organisation that exists for all people living with HIV. Over the last 2 years, and this is just coming up to an end in December, I've been involved with the Doherty Institute on a community panel that was looking into phylogenetic contact tracing. So we will have some things to report on next year. I was hoping that we might have our position paper for this year's AGM, but that's been pushed back a little bit of time. But the Doherty will develop a legal framework and an ethics paper about what happens if we implement this kind of contact tracing. And part of that will be a call for decreeing, and also a whole range of guidance for folks engaged in the development of that. I had the opportunity and privilege to be involved in the LGBTQ+ leadership group earlier this year, which supports and develops young LGBTIQ leaders. So much of the work I do is specifically HIV focused, and as a proud LGBTIQ community member, it was fantastic for me to be part of that process, develop the framework and the training packages for those new emerging leaders, and ensure that HIV was also a part of that conversation. In so many ways, our community seems to be siloed into different areas, and it was fantastic to ensure that not only through my participation this year, but into the future, that HIV will be an essential part of that dialogue and training package for the broader LGBTIQ+ community. A fantastic initiative and part of the state strategic plan is the Stigma Reduction Toolkit, was developed by Archers, La Trobe University, and a range of community groups had input. We had a fantastic workshop with healthcare workers earlier this year, where we spoke about incidents of stigma in healthcare settings. They're still way too high. The latest data shows that about 41% of people living with HIV have felt like they've experienced stigma and discrimination in healthcare settings. The department is very aware of that, and funding this initiative as a training package for healthcare workers is a really important way of addressing that, and not approaching it from a kind of blame angle, but just about what works, and focusing on what works sometimes too is just as important in focusing on what doesn't. So identifying good practice, how do we extend that good practice across a whole range of healthcare settings, and that's important work that we'll continue to be involved with. We had a fantastic forum held at Full Harbour Health earlier this year on AI in healthcare settings. As somebody who's not a great tech expert, AI kind of makes me kind of shiver, and I know that from a recent position that we filmed last year, I did notice a certain symmetry in a whole range of applications that had come through. So I'm not sold on AI in our workplace, but I do understand that it's coming, and the way that it can help us in healthcare settings, I think we're just starting to realise it, and it's a fantastic frontier into the future that will really guide big data sets and a whole range of other things that will benefit communities in the forward. And just a reminder, fantastic engagement with our national peak NAPWA across forums, and our input in the development of the 9th National HIV and AIDS Strategy, which will hopefully be launched on World AIDS Day this year. So it's been a big year in advocacy for our organisation. Okay, in the support pillar of our strategic plan, I just wanted to highlight a couple of amazing things that we've been able to do in the last 12 months. And I know Anne McGraw from VEEV is here. We were successful in attaining the VEEV grant for our project Translating the Facts. We have a range of small fact sheets, 5 in total. Some of them are about HIV basics, others are about finding a good GP, building up that relationship. We've translated those small fact sheets into 8 different languages. As we engage with more and more folks that are born overseas, we find that sometimes just plain language isn't enough, and to be able to provide information in people's first language is really enables them to feel like they've landed at an organisation who understands their needs, and really starts to also assist clinicians and a whole range of other people. So these aren't just in-house things, they've gone out to Melbourne Sexual Health, to a whole range of other healthcare providers, to enable a bit of conversation about some of those key aspects of a HIV diagnosis. The Know Your Rights workshop, in partnership with Q plus Legal here in Victoria, also grew out of our multicultural engagement, and that people were finding it really, really difficult to navigate their wellbeing through what are sometimes really long and extended visa processes, and for people who are seeking to become citizens here and go along that journey, sometimes that can take a number of years. And how do we maintain people's mental health and wellbeing through those processes, which the outcomes are not determined for them? And how do we support them in understanding what they need to be able to do? This doesn't workshops continue to be really popular. They really grew out of sections of the Phoenix program and kind of sit along the positive relationships program. It's really about disclosure with partners and a whole range of other things, and sharing some lived experience and sharing tools about how to make those things a little bit easier for folks. And the positive perspectives is really just an opportunity to reflect on your positive journey in a safe peer environment. The Let Them Know disclosure resource, also another successful VEEV grant. We've done pretty well, Anne, in the last couple of years, but I think one of the reasons that we've done well is we focus on things that have an immediate need in Victoria, but also can be applied across the entire nation. So the Translating Effects has been picked up by Queensland Positive People, POSLife New South Wales, POSLife South Australia, with a little bit of co-branding and other things like that. So developing programs and things that can be utilised across the entire country that have a very practical Victorian focus have been really important for us. And just lastly, on a couple of our key programs, and you'll see later today when we have an opportunity to look at our annual report, particularly Phoenix and Women's Phoenix. Women's Phoenix Every participant in that program this year was a woman born overseas. And in our men's meetings across 3 workshops this year, 47% of those folks who participated were folks born overseas. Our ability as an organisation to be agile, to adapt and to meet the needs of emerging communities, I think is second to none. And look, I could stand up here and take a lot of personal credit for it, but I really think it's down to some really simple decision making about affirmative action in our employment strategy. With a small organisation, we don't have many vacancies. So what we try and do is not only prioritise that positive person who might have the skill set, but a multicultural positive person that might have that skill set. So new members coming to our organisation see themselves reflected in everything that we do, and they find it to be a more culturally safe and more culturally aware place. And then engaging these key communities is absolutely essential in our priorities. Again, I just wanted to show folks the breadth of some of our particularly safe ways for specific communities to connect across our organisation. These are small investments from our budget every year, around about $1,000 for each of those groups for a couple of meetings a year. But what we find is providing those safe spaces for folks to come together. The BIPLUS group in particular was something that we've only done in the last 12 months, but we've had 28 people come to those meetings. And for a long time, we thought that we always had bisexual folks engaging in our organisation, but we thought that they would just align themselves to wherever they were more comfortable. So that would be a gay group or it would be a heterosexual group, but it wasn't until we actually took the time to provide an absolute space that's dedicated to those people who identify in that way that we've realised that it's been a really big missing piece of what we offer to our community. Again, Hannah, the Asian Peer Support Group, the Latino Peer Support Group, and Victoria is the only state in the country that offers a South Asian Peer Support Group, and it's been really successful. Having those opportunities for folks to come together who share the same cultural background, can have kind of conversations that aren't kind of based in a workshop. It's about that really one-on-one peer support, to talk about their lived experience, to talk about their challenges in an environment that's culturally appropriate and enables people to build their quality of life. We continue to run really strong programs for our evening, our Women's Day. Again, the numbers of women born overseas that are engaging in those programs is continually increasing, and we're really proud that we can provide an environment for those folks to connect in, because they're often really isolated and not community connected. Our adults retreat, our family retreat continue to be really successful. Bo Newham got a small grant from Melbourne City Council last year to do viral stories. It was a public storytelling engagement which has been reproduced into a whole range of podcast series and other things like that, and was really successful in engaging the broader community about some of the lived experience of HIV across a whole range of folks' identities. And connecting into that, I think the other big change this year has been the development of our content creation. Tom's just up the back there now, and I'd like to acknowledge the work that he's done and the skill set that he's brought to our organisation. A whole range of podcasts, some new videos which we're just about to release that link back into stigma in healthcare settings and talking about what's good practice and what's not good practice to be able to be utilised in training of healthcare staff in a really kind of proactive way. Like I said, not blaming, but talking about what good care is. And a whole range of other activities that we've been able to do with Tom's engagement in our organisation. I'm really grateful to Joy FM. I have a monthly slot every last month of every Saturday, if you want to tune into Saturday Magazine, where I have a really good dialogue, and it enables us to reach a whole range of community members that may not be engaging across our other kind of areas. I also want to acknowledge the Taking Charge program, which is a partnership between Living Positive Victoria and Thorn Harbour Health. Vic's sitting there, and Vic's our Taking Charge worker and our HIV and aging staff member. And we went to Bendigo for a bit of a road trip. We're trying to plan one road trip into rural areas each year. we do realise that we're a statewide service, and I think that we've still got a lot of work to go before we kind of realise that connectivity of folks who are outside of Melbourne. And just finally, thanks, Brenton. I just want to acknowledge the staff. As our President did earlier, we've had 3 part-time staff leave our organisation this year. Part of the mitigation strategy was not to fill those positions again, to stop us from having to remove further staff. I want to acknowledge Craig Burnett, I want to acknowledge Dimitri, and I also want to acknowledge Bo Newman as well. All of them have made significant contributions to our organisation. And the work's not done yet. It's not as easy as not filling those staff that leave. There'll continue to need to be a review of our current structures to ensure that we're fit for purpose moving forward. So I just want to thank, and again, talk about the strength of our partnerships across the sector. And Simon, it's great to see you here today, and I get a lot of personal support from my engagement with both Simon and Kirsty Macon from Positive Women as CEOs in our organisation, and managing through uncertain times. Those primary relationships of those 3 organisations that address HIV here in Victoria is something that we all should be proud about. Smaller organisations like ours really do need to lean on Thornton Harbour Health and other organisations in a whole range of ways, and those partnerships and the program areas that we work on strengthen everyone across the response. So I just wanted to acknowledge that today. And again, there will be some challenges ahead of us, but I just want to reassure people that our focus, as I said at the beginning, is maintaining the services that we deliver for our team and trying to work out and make those savings without having to reduce too many staff of our program. So I love to have a chat, but I think I'll wind that up. So thanks everyone for your time too. Are there any questions? Okay, so phylogenetics is another way of tracing. So when someone gets a diagnosis of HIV, they will do a genetic test to test for resistance to ensure that folks get the right treatment for their HIV. An extension of that is that as we kind of we start moving to virtual elimination and a whole range of other things, we can trace specific clusters and areas that we might need to do some more prevention in or some testing in by using that data. It's de-identified at this time, but it also helps us track clusters, and it also helps us track potential resistance to ARVs and stuff across communities. It's a complex issue. There are some genuine concerns from our community about that information being used and how it might be used. There's a whole lot of fear about the fact that it might be used in fertilisation cases. They cannot correctly trace it back to an individual, but they can trace a line between A and B of a likely infection. Part of the engagement that I've had with the Doherty Institute, and in particular Sharon Lewin, and I really need to acknowledge the work that she's done in engaging myself and Aaron Coble from NACWA, the National Association of People with HIV, for us to be able to work together about if this type of tracing is to go ahead, what are the key ethical decisions that we would need to make to ensure that positive people are on board with this. Because I think the danger is that if we go ahead and there's no community engagement in this discussion and we just go ahead and start doing these things, that it could potentially create a barrier for people testing in the future and a whole range of other things. So this process has been going now for 24 months. It's coming to a conclusion soon, and we will have a paper to put to the department and engage further next year. And I'm hoping that I'll have a bit more of a tangible update next year. And I know that's a really basic explanation of it, but at this stage, that's where we are. It has not been determined whether it's going ahead or not. I know from discussions at the national level, there are some states that really want to dive in. It's quite an expensive process, so there's a whole dialogue going on about, do we have the numbers to support the expenditure, a whole range of other dialogues that are going on at the moment. So it's not certain. It's certainly not being done at the moment here in Victoria, but it's an ongoing discussion. As you can imagine, as we get to the end of HIV and we share, and I think this is a really important thing too, positive people share the intention to end HIV across everything, and I think sometimes we don't lean into the fantastic success that this country's had. I was in Germany for the international conference, and it's not until you actually get outside of Australia and you see how well we're doing. A lot of the time when people talk about us having, a world-leading response, I just used to back it off and go, we can do better, I don't have better. But it's only when you get outside of Australia that you actually said that is really the case. And I think for a long time, positive people, for a whole range of reasons, not lent in to that good story about where the response is in Australia and our role in it. By going on to treatment, by adhering to our medications, by having the courage to disclose to our sexual partners, by having those conversations and being involved in HIV prevention as part of everything we do as positive people. I don't think we lean into that enough, and I think that every positive person should be proud of where we are in the Australian response as we move towards virtual elimination. Thanks. A motion to accept my CEO's report. Thank you, Ian. And the second? Vic Perry, thank you very much. All in favour? Thanks, guys. I appreciate your time, and thanks for coming along. It's great to see you. Matthew Gallagher.
All right, thank you. So I just want to warn you that as a public speaker, I am a great accountant. But I did want to run you through some numbers. Everybody should have a copy of the financials. Everybody should have read, fully understood every single number. But just in case not, I'll take you on a little roller coaster. So page 3, we've got our profit and loss statement of financial performance. So the first number is not a great one, so this is a down. So the bottom, total comprehensive income for the year, negative 54,500. So this says we went backwards. As we've heard earlier today, a lot of that was to do with the COVID underspend. So we had some extra money from the previous year. You can see that one right next door, the 376,000, which was positive, which is really good. So our roller coaster is back up. So on balance in 22, we've done pretty well in those two years. So 2024 was about spending the extra money that we had left over from programs we couldn't run during COVID. And for the most part, we've done that. Page 4. Back on our roller coaster. So heading back up. Total equity, $816,000. So the bottom figure. Counts feels at the bottoms. This one means that after putting aside everything that we need to pay, so we've got annual leave, staff expenses, rent and bills and things, we've got $800,000 left over. That's good. For 2025, which isn't in any of this report because it's a point in time, we've gone even further backwards. So the fit out, our beautiful new office, the bill for that came in at the start of this financial year, which has cost us $300,000, sorry. All those extra fittings from David. So if we were to look at where we're at right now, it's more like $500,000. So again, our roller coaster back down. Unfortunately, this is my final Treasurer's report. The final time I'll be up here. I'm constitutionally forbidden restanding. So I'll have to hand over to the future Treasurer, but there'll be a mid-year budget update to have a look at the future. Unfortunately, I won't be there to guide the organisation along that one. But that was the main things I wanted to run you through. So on balance, for this report, it looks great. So
Finish on a high.
Finish on a high, yeah. Did anybody have any questions about any of these financials? Yes,
Page 15.
15. Deep into it. Go for it.
Prepayments.
Say that again, sir.
Prepayments.
Prepayments.
3,000 this year. Try to go through the notes. I will say.
Just on page 15.
1, 3,
13. Prepayments. I believe that was some costs related to the fit out of the new premises. So we paid some deposits and things for that. So yeah, they weren't an expense in any of the things that haven't been completed yet, but we have paid over some of the money.
You said this is the conversion.
Yes.
I would really suggest page 15 or 5. If you go to the notes, I strongly believe this instead of 4, 5, 6 is 4, 5, and instead of 8 is 9.
Very good.
And also, it would be good to suggestion. If you go again to page 13, number 9.
No, 9.
It says, some traders, and it's more than 100,000. So it will be like a big number to say.
Fair enough. If you're reading that, it would sound as though we're trying to hide something.
No, I'm just saying, it's a suggestion. That's why it's a suggestion.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'll take that one on board. Yes?
Given the comments that really precise and useful, and they look like directions to me, do we need a motion to accept the specific amendments before we accept the directions?
Yes, there you go.
Chair.
So, yeah.
Motion,
There's some amendments that we're going to make to the numberings.
And so what's Ian asking?
If we need to.
Do it all.
Yeah. Okay. May I call for a motion to amend the financials as they are with these updates? That's okay. There are corrections. So we'll tidy that up if everybody agrees. Anyone to give Richard? Thank you, Sarah. And all in favour? Wonderful. Alrighty. Do we get a second motion there? Do you accept these ones? Oh, sorry. So we're going to amend them, and then, pending those amendments, can we accept the amended, points? Please. Christian? Oh, yes, perfect. Thank you. No in favour. Great. And then a third motion to accept Collins and Co. as our auditor for another year. Sarah, thank you. And everybody else. Thank you, Craig. All in favour? All righty. Thank you.
That's the formal portion of the program. We'll take a quick break and come back with the results of the 2024 election, our awards, and
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Much appreciated. The next portion of this afternoon, we have three pieces of business, the election of members and open directors in 2024, our awards for this year, and a little guide to Matthew once we move a constitutional amendment to change the laws of the kingdom. Okay, so our election results for 2024. Each year, LPB has full director positions available for election by members. At the close of nominations this year, there was one candidate, and under our rules of incorporation, that candidate was duly elected. I'd like to congratulate and welcome Adam Brown to our There are two full director positions available. We will in the coming weeks or in the coming months, we will make those available to members by another round of elections. Moving on to awards. First award, our Community Champion Award. First award, our Ally of the Year Award. This award is awarded to an individual or an organisation who is an ally of our community. And has made an exceptional contribution to the advocacy for the health and well-being and the human rights of people living with HIV across Victoria. This year, the award goes to Peter. Richard has a behind the curtain. So Peter first engaged with Living Positive Victoria in January 2016, having applied to become a volunteer. An eager ally of people living with HIV, he has since attended a wide variety of events that LPB have been involved in, ranging from our Midsummer Pride March, the Dalesford Chill Out Festival, and representing Living Positive Victoria in a variety of parties of the Let Hotel, and regularly assisting in our positive events. Welcoming members with his very friendly nature, Peter is often the first people greeting people as they arrive at Planet Positive. Peter really does set the tone for these events, and his disarming and charming manner puts everyone at ease, whether they're there for the first time or a regular at these socials. These events don't just happen without the participation of our allies and our volunteers, and Peter is one of our very best. I'm absolutely thrilled to present this award to you today. Thank you.
Hello everyone. I just want to say a quick thank you to Living Positive for recognising this award. I think when I heard about it, when I reflect on why I'm here and why I volunteer, when I moved to Melbourne, I wanted to give back to the community, and I think personally I thought I'm kind of proud of who I am, proud of what I do and who I am and what I am. So I want to give back to the community, specifically the LGBTIQ+8 community, and that's where I found being positive. But going through that, I didn't think about how can I, as an ally, volunteer in a community where I haven't had that experience that some people have. But as you mentioned, quarter on quarter. Went to a few at the start, and probably more consistently in social barbecues. And every quarter you see people come in. I saw new faces, old faces, some faces no more, and I saw LPV evolve. And to me, that was kind of that community I was looking for, and that kind of community outreach and community spirit. And throughout the 8 years I've been here, I've seen what it is for people. It is, I think it's a 3-4 hour work on Saturday. But, what it means to someone, you never know what someone's going through when they walk through the door. And I think just being part of that, being able to stand there and, just chat and talk rubbish like I usually do, it's meaningful, and I hope the community gets something out of it as well, because I certainly do. And I think I'll be there again in December to welcome some more people. But thanks everyone.
Champions Award, awarded to an individual or organisation that has had a significant impact on the lives of people living with HIV through sustained and extraordinary contributions to support and empower a positive community. This year's award goes to Shiv Singh. So Shiv has quickly become synonymous with the positive movement in Victoria. As someone who came here to find refuge, connection, and community, we're incredibly grateful to Shiv as Shiv decided to share his warmth and his love with our communities. Living Positive Victoria is proud to acknowledge Shiv's ongoing commitment to the development of his community. As one of the proud founding members of Australia's first Positive South Asian group, he's a staple at our events and also facilitates us for us at Positive Reflections Group on a quarterly basis. So thank you, Shiv. Living Positive Victoria is only reaches the people who make it. And Shiv is one of the shining gems who inspires us and builds resilience in anyone he connects with. Thank you for making us proud, and thank you for being part of our community. Final award, the President's Award. Great. This is awarded at the discretion of the President to an individual or a group or an organisation within the broader community that has demonstrated visionary leadership and in improving the lives of people living with HIV. This year the award goes to Jordan. So Jordan was diagnosed with HIV at 18 years old, living in regional Victoria, and as many of us do, felt the full weight of the isolation of receiving that news. But like so many in rural areas, Jordan faced limited access to resources, fewer opportunities to connect with others who understood that journey. But instead of retreating, Jordan saw an opportunity to transform his experience into something positive. As an avid online gamer, he had already a community of followers on his stream platform Twitch. Jordan realized that this space, where connection and collaboration thrive, could be a platform for something greater than just entertainment. With courage and creativity, Jordan transformed his Twitch channel into not only a platform for gaming, but for an educational and awareness opportunity. Through streaming goals and challenges, he invited his followers to engage in his personal journey, breaking down misconceptions about HIV. Jordan sparked meaningful conversations with his community, fostering an environment of empathy and understanding. His efforts were bridges between isolated individuals like himself and the critical support systems that they may not have known existed. What's truly remarkable for me was this wasn't just about raising funds, he raised awareness. In a world where misinformation about HIV still lingers, his ability to educate, advocate in digital spaces is nothing short of visionary. He created a space where HIV can be discussed openly in real time amongst a diverse community. He built empathy and fostered understanding and empowered his viewers to think differently about HIV. For his creativity, for his innovation, and for his commitment to helping others, I am honored to present Jordan with the award this year. Thank you, Jordan.
Not only notified me of this honour and award that it is being a new member to Living Positive Victoria. Thank you. As you all know, receiving that diagnosis is not an easy thing, and especially at such a young age as myself at the age of 18. As Craig had mentioned, I was limited to resources being in regional Victoria and not finding about services like Living Positive Victoria where I could find that support. The support I had within family and friends has given me great strides to where I am today, being able to openly disclose my status, not only to friends, sexual partners, romantic partners, but also in the workplace to provide safer spaces for young people living with HIV, but also making awareness for the greater HIV positive community. I took the initiative to hit what I did, take it online into my gaming community space where I could help raise that awareness, not only for HIV, but also Living Positive Victoria, in hopes I can reach peers to be able to reach out to services available to them, not only those close to us here at home, but also anywhere around the world to reach out to those services.
So today I have the honour of paying tribute to someone who has been a part of the Heart of Living Positive Victoria for the last 6 years, our treasurer, Matthew Gallagher. Matthew joined the board 6 years ago, and I was sitting behind him when he did so and gave his first speech. It went something like, "Hi, I'm Matt, I'm an accountant." Yeah, that's about it. And was immediately elected. He moved into the treasurer's position immediately, and his leadership in this space has been pivotal in ensuring all of his finances remain healthy across the course of his 6 years in this role. Matthew's attention to detail, paired with his ability to see the bigger picture, has been a gift that has helped Living Positive Victoria thrive and survive these last 6 years. Beyond managing finances, Matthew has led the fundraising committee with energy and vision, and his efforts engaged Living Positive Victoria in the Great Victorian Bike Ride in 2022. I don't know. But his outstanding contribution these last 18 months has been as financial advisor, not just to Living Positive Victoria, but also to Positive Women Victoria as we move through our relocation effort. His expertise in this space has helped make that transition smooth and ensure that we will be financially stable moving forward. Matthew's contributions go well and beyond just balance sheets and numbers. His presence on the board has been invaluable. He is much loved and respected as a member of his team, and is always wise counsel with a sense of calm. His humour has been much appreciated. The more important he makes, and I am sad that he hasn't brought muffins for the lunch that are not many next time. On behalf of the entire board, the staff and the members of Living Positive Victoria, Matthew, thank you for your contribution these last 6 years. It has been an absolute pleasure and honour to work with you. Matthew Gallagher. We didn't tell you about this, but we spent some extra cash.
Put it in the notes.
So Matthew, a real. Oh wow. It's all part of humour.
Thank you. I wasn't prepared to make a second speech for today, so I'm all spoken out. But I joined LBB because Adam, previous president, encouraged would be a polite way of putting it. Encouraged me to apply, and I did. And yes, my first speech, I've improved. I hope since then, but it has been fun. It's being able to feel as valued as I have on the board, and I forget that not everybody understands numbers quite like perhaps we do, and being able to boil those down and look at the bigger picture as well has been a good time. So thank you.
Thank you again, Matthew. So that concludes our afternoon. Thank you all for coming this afternoon. It has been an absolute pleasure to host again. Thank you. Yeah.
Richard.
No,